All right. Good evening once again, everyone. You are welcome to Digitech Zeal. This is your online live tech training platform where we train across different trending tech programs like cybersecurity, data analytics, graphic design, web development, Python programming, and so many other programs. So this is computer fundamental training section. Remember that we have been on this, but I would like to hear from those of us that were in day one of this training, if there's
Okay.
any question. Do we
Even in
have?
a narrow business, you understand? Specific talks to specific.
Okay, please, as soon as you join, endeavor to mute to avoid sound conflicts. All right, so we are all welcome again. As we know, I wanted to ask if there's any question. Perhaps you have gone through the last video and you have one or two questions to ask. Because we are behind the time, or will I say that the time is ahead of us? We have already consumed 13 minutes from our scheduled time. So what I'm going to do is to continue with the training. And then in between, I will pause to ask questions if you have any. So for those of us that probably have one or two questions to ask from the previous session, be free to ask the question when the time comes. All right, so let's quickly dive in. Now, in our last session, what we did was to lay a foundation on what computer is all about. That was what we did last time, to lay a foundation. And the subject that we discussed was computer appreciation. And what is computer appreciation? Computer appreciation is an aspect of computer or computing that deals with understanding the computer itself theoretically, right? And then under that topic, I remember that we uh, we talk about the definition of computer. We talk about the definition of computer as an electronic device that can accept data from users and also process the data to become meaningful information, right? So that was a very simple definition of computer. All right. So there was somebody that sent a request on something. I hope the person is not contradicting my navigation here. Okay. So please, if you are the one, kindly see how you can mute that. Okay. So the objective of that section is to give us a kind of theoretical background of what the computer system is all about. We also spent some time to highlight some of the various parts of computer. I'm not sure if we actually looked at parts of computer because I know somebody asked if we are going to explain computer from the functionality aspect, and I responded that most of that will be taken care of in the next section. All right, so at least from that section, we should now know what computer system is all about. But this session focus is on what we have on the screen, right? Mastering the Microsoft Windows. That is our focus in this section. All right, so we are going to look at what is Microsoft Windows. You see, as soon as you have knowledge of what the computer system is all about. I'm talking about being able to know what it is, understanding the various components that makes up the computer. The next step is for you to understand the computer windows. The very first interface that the computer usually present to us as soon as it completes an operation called booting. James, please, you can do us a favor to turn off your video. It's actually distracting. All right, so now let's dive in. Let's look at the definition of window. Let's look at the definition of window. Just give me a few minutes. Let me see. Okay. Okay, so this is going to be our learning objective, actually. So this is going to be our learning objective tonight. Is as soon as you join, kindly mute your audio. All this has been highlighted in the first section. Let's endeavor to keep to these simple rules, right? Good, thank you. James, your audio. Anyway, I can mute you here, but I don't want distraction. Please, as soon as you join, kindly mute your audio. All right, so let me see if I can do that from here. Don't know. Let me see. You just give me a few minutes. Let me see how I can mute Brother James. Okay, I think he's out. All right, so okay. So let's look at the objective for tonight's training. Let's look at the objective for tonight's training. After this training, talking about this particular section, we should know what Microsoft Windows is all about. Then we'll also discuss some of the functions of Microsoft Windows. We'll discuss some of the functions of Microsoft Windows. And then we will also discuss some of the Windows interface components. We'll try as much as possible to see how we can identify some of the components that makes up the Microsoft Windows interface. Then at the end of today's session, we should also be able to manage files within our folders residing within our windows. And then, of course, I'm not sure if the time will permit us to look at user account. But remember, this is a master class, which means that anywhere we stop in this session, we pick it up in our next section. So there is no cause for alarm, right? So let's look at, let me look at, just give me a few minutes, just why. Okay, so let's dive in. Let's look at what is Microsoft Windows. Let's start with the definition. So what I'm going to do within the next probably 15 to 20 minutes is to also give us a theoretical background knowledge of what Microsoft Windows is all about. Probably the next 1 hour, I think that should be from 8 to 9. My focus will be on the practical aspects. All right, but before then, let's look at the definition of Microsoft Windows. So Microsoft Windows is an operating system, usually abbreviated to OS, developed by Microsoft. So I believe most of us that are here understand who is Microsoft Corporation. That is the company owned by Bill Gates, right? So a few years back, this company was, the owner of Microsoft was actually the richest person, right? So Microsoft's Windows is an operating system developed by Microsoft Corporation. An operating system is a software that manages a computer hardware and allow users to interact with the computer. So a practical example, that is why most time we refer to it as Windows. So let's use the window you have in your house right there. You will agree with me that that window is like a demarcation between the outside and the inside what? The room, which means that through the window, you can actually what? Look at something outside. All right. So we just have to understand it, why the word window is used. All right. Now, which means that as far as computer is concerned, there is also a curtain that is standing in between, the computer itself and the user. The reason why it's structured that way is that a lot of things could be going on at the background of the first layer of your computer, but you need the window, you need the window to be able to what? So the window is just like an interface given to you and I as the computer users to be able to communicate with the resources, for us to be able to exploit those resources within the system. We all know that our computer has a lot of resources a user can tap into. And that is why it's very, very important for us today, because a lot of things can be accessed within the computer. So the window is what gives every computer user access. And that is why it is called the operating system. That is why it is called the operating system. Now, let's look at the logical concept behind this. Just as you are as human beings, we all operate differently in our various endeavors. There are some of us that wakes up as early as 5 a.m. There are some that wakes up probably 7 a.m. So you can see we are all human beings, but we are operating differently. James Eneche, I'm going to sign you out and then relax for the video. You cannot control your video. I've warned you several times. Your video is distracting this class. If I notice you cannot handle it, you settle to watch the recorded video. Please let your video be stable. All right? I believe you have gotten that information. All right, so I'm just trying to give us a picture of what the window is and why we need this window. So without having Microsoft Windows within your system, you cannot actually exploit the resources within that system. So let's understand that. So just like I pointed out at the bottom of my slide, just for us to understand how important understanding this window is as individuals that are venturing into the world of technology. Almost every devices that we use today has an operating system. I can prove it to you. Your mobile phone has an operating system called the Android. So the Android phone, the Android you are hearing, is described after a phone or a telephone product that uses an operating system called what? An Android. So the same thing with laptop. So we have different operating system that ensure the smooth running of the entire computer. All right. So let me further break it down. It's just like you having, it's just like a car. It's just like a car. It's just like a car. Um, Before you drive the car, you need to learn driving. You must know how to drive. Otherwise, if you enter that car, you may end up probably destroying things or people on the road. So that is how it looked like when somebody jump into learning applications like Word, Excel, without proper knowledge of the operating system. We have a lot of persons like that. Today, they are using Microsoft Word to type, but if you ask them how to create folder or how to do some of those basic things on Windows, they don't know it. So it is very important because after this subject, we will go into Microsoft Office Word. But I just want us to know how to manage the computer itself. Eventually, you have a laptop, you will now be able to manage that laptop effectively so that you don't end up spoiling it every now and then because you lack the operating system management skills. All right. So file cannot be managed effectively without the Microsoft window. Hardware devices cannot communicate. All right. Cannot communicate without the software. All right. So you cannot connect your mouse to the system unit. You cannot connect your keyboard without the window, without the operating system assigning command prompt to them. All right, so I believe what I've explained so far is clear to us. If I can just get one response, one person to unmute and talk back to me if we are following before we shift our focus to the next topic. Someone is having issue with the password. The link that was sent to you comprises both the password and the link. So you can just click on that link, then you find yourself in the class. Are we together, please? Do we have any question on the definition? If we don't, so that I can move on. Let me hear from at least one person. I hope the definition of Microsoft Windows is clear to every one of us. Are we good? I have a lot of persons in this class. Please kindly respond. I don't need to call your name. I just need one response.
I'm good, sir.
Good.
Yes.
All right. Thank
I'm
you.
good.
Thank you. Let's make it interactive. This is an online training. I need to get feedback from you. All right. It encourages us a lot. All right. So let's look at the structure of the operating system. So, remember I was talking about different layers. So we need to understand that the window is like the curtain that is separating you. So we want to look at the structure, how the system is laid out. So we have the Microsoft an operating system. So you have the computer, that's the first layer. And then you have what? The operating system, which is the window. And then you have the application and then the user. So you can see that you are actually depending on the what? The operating system, which is the window. And that is why I was telling us then that without having the Microsoft window or the operating system installed in your computer, it is impossible for you to use applications like Word, Excel. It's just like a car. The driver is the operating system in this case now, while the passenger are the applications. So, which means that the driver is the one that drives the passenger. So when there is any issue with the car, maybe the car is moving and all of a sudden the car just stopped without, prior notice. The driver will still be at peace to an extent, but you see the passenger flying out. Why? Because he understands the operation, he understands the system of that car. And that is what will have given him some confidence to remain at peace. But those people that are inside will be scared. So that is how it is when you do not go through this kind of training when you did not go through learning the Microsoft Windows before learning application. You will end up operating the computer with some fears. You will just be afraid left and right because it's as if you don't have solid background. You see the way we have sequenced the training. The last class was computer appreciation, where we told you the definition of computer, some of the things it can do. At least that will have instigated some confidence in you approaching now the first practical interface of the computer, which is the window. And then once you understand this, you proceed to Microsoft Office. By the time you join all this knowledge together, you will see that you will now be able to operate the computer, without any fear. So if you look at the diagram here, I'm pointing out to something. So example of application, we have Microsoft Word, we have Excel, we have Chrome, we have Photoshop, we have VLC, and we have WhatsApp, and the rest of them. They are all application software. So we need to understand, remember I told you that you cannot actually install, there is no technician, there's no engineer that can actually install any app on your laptop without what? First of all, installing the Microsoft Windows. So everything that happens within the system must receive instruction from the window. The window receives instruction from the processor, and the application receives instruction from the window. And then, of course, we now learn how to use those applications to produce something tangible. So let's quickly look at the Microsoft, some of the functions of what? The Microsoft Windows here. Some of the functions, so that we have a deeper knowledge on what this Windows does. So we want to look at it. We are breaking the function of the Microsoft window in terms of different criteria. So in terms of hardware management, what we mean by hardware, remember hardware are the physical parts you can see and touch, such as the mouse, the keyboard, the VDU, the CPU, they are all the speaker, they are all what? Hardware. All right, and this hardware can be basic hardware and optional hardware. The basic hardware are those compulsory hardware. For example, mouse, keyboard, the VDU are the system units. But we have speaker, we have scanner, we have light pen, we have joystick. All these are also parts of the computer you can see and touch. But because you can do away with them at some point, they are now classified under the optional part of the computer. All right, so in case I did not mention some of them, you will now know that I'm just trying to focus on the ones that matter. So in terms of hardware, what role does the Microsoft window or the operating system plays? Is the one that controls them. All the hardwares that you connect to your system, if the window does not acknowledge them, none of them will communicate. And that is the reason why when you connect your mouse or your keyboard to your system BIOS, which is what the basic input and output interface. I'm talking about those interfaces that are made up of your USB port, serial port, parallel port, and the rest of them, Firewire port, HDMI port, the whole of that section that allows you to plug in this component. They are referred to as the basic input and output system or interface of the system. So what I'm saying is that it's not just plugging those things there. If you connect your mouse, I believe some of us must have experienced this. There are times that you plug your phone, you want to transfer file from your phone to the system, you will not discover, you not get a message that say this device cannot be recognized. Or when you connect some of these peripherals, because they are referred to as peripherals. When you connect any of them to the system, sometimes you get a message towards the taskbar section that says a device has just been connected. So what is that telling you? That is a notification from the Microsoft window from the operating system telling you that I just acknowledge additional function. All right? That is what something else have just been connected to me. So once a user sees that kind of information, he or she knows that, oh, the computer has increased its functionality. So which means that what? The Windows just assigned a communication link. In other words, that device is visible to what? To the Windows management. The window cannot instruct it to function. So it's the one that control all the hardwares. All the hardware has a log, has the book where they are registered. All right. That is why they all have what we call driver. If you have heard of engineers saying, what, I want to drive your system, what they are simply telling you is that they want to activate some hardware so that they can be able to what? To communicate with the Microsoft window. So let's look at another function of Microsoft window. The Microsoft window manages all softwares. The word software in computer can be described as instruction, can be described as command. So the collection of this instruction are referred to as what? Softwares, applications. So we are still going to expatiate because we have different categories of softwares. We have the application software, we have the system software. The application software are the set of software that are programmed to carry out a specific task. For example, WhatsApp is an application software because outside messaging and video conference or video communication, it can't do any other thing. So it's specialized on instant and what? Instant messaging. Then we have Microsoft Word, which specialize on word processing. We have Microsoft Excel, which also specialize on record management and performing calculation. We have PowerPoint, which specialize on creating and managing presentations. We have CorelDRAW, which specialize on what? Graphic design. We have Photoshop. So you can see that we have millions of applications out there. So once it is called an application, what should come to your mind? Oh, it is a software that is programmed by the programmer just to solve a specific what problem. Every application was actually born out of someone trying to address a challenge or a problem someone is facing. All right. So when it comes to software management, the window is also the one in charge. So you cannot see why I am giving us all this so that you know why you need to prioritize understanding this interface of your computer. Very important. So let's look at another function of the window. The window is the one that manages all your files within your system. All the files you will have created with your Microsoft Word, whatever it is, so long as a file that exists within the system, the Microsoft window is the one that is managing them. It allows you to create file, rename file, delete file, move file, copy file. All of these are things you must know how to do. Now, of course, the Microsoft window also manages what? The computer storage. You will have also find out that whenever you slot in your flash drive, the company that produced that flash drive must have produced that flash drive to store, let's say, 2 gig capacity. But the moment you slot in that flash drive, the window is the one that will allocate the space it can use. And at the end of the day, some of the windows, depending on the type of window you are using or the version, so window takes a lot of space and, you know, as for their personal what use, because the window must reserve a space that the user must not store information in order to manage those files that are within that drive. So you don't argue when you purchase a flash drive that is boldly written on the case 2 gig, and by the time you slot it in your laptop, you say something like 1.9, 1.8, 1.7. Do not argue. That is 2 gig. So what has happened is that the window have taken some space for the processor to manage it and then leave the remaining space for you to what to use. I hope I'm communicating. Can I get a response, please?
Yes, sir, you're communicating, sir.
Thank
You're
you.
communicating, sir.
Thank you. All right. So please, once you have question, you can use the reaction button. And once I see that sign, I will know that you need my attention. All right. So the window is also the software within your system that ensure the security of your computer. So there are a lot of inbuilt security features which we train those that are in cyber security section. We refer to it as Computer A+, which is usually called the advanced Windows security. So there are a lot of security tools that are built within the window that a security expert can use to secure the system from intruders. So the window also provides security to what? To your system. It allows you to password your computer. It allows you to what? To set up the firewall, which is like the gatekeeper that ensure all the incoming and outgoing transaction to ensure that what? They are safe and secure. And then the window also allow us to set up a user account. All these are practical we are going to go through. We should be able to learn how to create a user account. It's very, very important, particularly those of us that have personal laptop, so that people don't, have access to your system without your consent. So the window also make the computer to be what? To be multitasking, run many applications simultaneously. Example, at the same time, you can listen to music with your computer while you are still browsing the internet, even while you are at the same time typing. So all this is to highlight the importance of what? The window. So now let's look at the next. Let's study some Windows version and the type. And it is important we understand this so that you know the window you are running on your laptop or your desktop computer. It's very, very important. Okay, so you can see how I have explained different versions. Some of them are outdated. You are not going to find them out there. We have Windows XP 2001, Windows Vista 2007. So I learned computer with Windows XP. And then it was in my present Windows Vista came, and people started complaining that Windows Vista is too heavy, it's not responding, does not have drivers to connect so many computer devices. And then they brought what? Windows 7. And then we started complaining again. Windows 7 is almost the same thing with and all of that, some complaint, blah, blah, blah. They brought what? Windows 8. And when they brought Windows 8, we now discovered that the commands were not properly organized. If you are using Windows 8, if you want to shut down your system, you will have to come to this to the right hand side, touch the corner before to bring out those tools. So a lot of persons that are used to Windows 7, they were confused. Some of them will even tell that they can't find the shutdown button. So that now led to Windows 10. So Windows 10 is just like they return the structure to Windows 7, but in an advanced structure. Then people are still complaining Windows 10, they brought Windows 11, and that is where we are today. All right, so I just want us to understand. You can see I have screenshotted some of their interface for those of us that witnessed them. You can see the middle one. The first one is Windows XP. And then the middle one is Windows 10, sorry, yes. The middle one is Windows Vista, Windows 7. And then this one is Windows 10. And then we have more advanced window now, which is what? Windows 11. So advantages of Microsoft Windows: easy to use, user-friendly interface, support thousands of software applications, plug and play hardware support, excellent gaming support, strong security feature, frequent updates. And then let's look at some of the what? The functionality within the window. So all these are labeled. Okay. You have question?
Sir, please 1 minute. Yes, sir. Sir, some of us are, as you are writing it, as you are sliding it, some of us are writing it down. So I don't know if you can be giving us 50 seconds to be writing it down before we move to the another
So
slide, please, if you don't mind.
okay, no problem, no problem. But just make sure that we don't take too much time, like you said. So where are you now so that I can, are you done writing this? Those of you
Yes,
writing? Can I?
this particular, I mean, yes, sir.
Okay.
And yes,
All right. So I may not be consulting whether you are done, but I will just give reasonable time, at least 2 to 3 minutes before or some seconds to move on. All right. So so it is very important that we understand window. You see, that is why the objective of this training is that we want people to learn computer in the right way. A lot of persons are learning computer in wrong ways. I can tell you for a fact, I have graduated a lot of students in advanced program, data analytics, cybersecurity programming, and I have witnessed some of the challenges they face. A lot of them find it difficult to get to that level to becoming a professional because they lack this basic. And when you have 3 of them in a class, those that have done it, you see them learning faster. You see them learning faster. Why those ones are still struggling to understand the basic? All right, so understanding the window interface. So there are all these parts that I've labeled. They are very important you understand them because any moment from now, I'm going to switch from here and then focus on some of the practical things that will confirm some of these things that I've explained. I just want to give us the background first before we switch to the practical aspect. So you can see the first label here, recycle bin. So the recycle bin is just like the way you have it in your office. You have a temporary what? Dustbin, where things can be temporarily what? Kept, pending when you will conclude that you will never need them again before you what? You dispose them. All right, so in a computer system, there is a folder or there is a storage called what? Recycle bin, and you can see the label of the icon attached to it. Then we have the desktop shortcut, which we are going to look at in a moment once I leave this interface. So I'm going to identify all these parts you are seeing here. I'm going to identify them for us, but they are real enough. You can see the File Explorer button. You can see the Chat button. You can see the Task View button. You can see the Start button. You can see the Search button. You can see the Weather widget and the rest of that. All right. Okay, so just to explain it better here, so you can see I'm still trying to, pick out some of the words, the features or the section within the window so that when you see them, you know, oh, this is what this is used for. You can see the All Application button in case you have an application within your system and you want to use it. So you can click there and then to expand the window and allow you to view more apps. And then you have the search field where you can search out a program using its keyword. For example, if I want to use Microsoft Word or Excel, I can just type what? E, and then it brings out all the applications that start with letter E. If it is Word, I can just type what? W. So every program or application that is installed in your system has a register keyword. It is that same algorithm that Google uses. So that sometimes when you are typing, you are searching for something on Google, once you type the keyword, you see Google word dropping some related words description. And then you have the user icon, we have the recommended app and that. Now, what we are going to do after this, understanding the window interface. So I would like to take us to the practical aspect to see how we can understand this. So now let's face the window squarely. So this is actually the interface that I labeled there. So this is the very first interface that your computer presents to you as soon as it's finished booting. What is computer booting? Computer booting simply means the process of the computer initializing itself. To break it down, the process of the computer getting itself ready for usage is called what? Booting. And this booting has two types. We have what we call the cold booting, and then we have the warm booting. So you have to break it down. The cold booting is when you are turning on your computer for the very first time. For example, now tomorrow morning, the first time I press the power button, it is called what? Cold booting. Because at that point, all the computer components are cold. Now, we now have warm booting. Warm booting also means to restart the system. And what leads to warm booting? You can be using a system, and because you have so much skills, you are trying to be multitasking like we have explained earlier on. You understand Excel, you understand Word, you understand PowerPoint, and you have a lot of job at hand, and you are trying to what? Type someone's letter. At the same time, you want to create somebody's presentation. At the same time, you want to design somebody's flyer. And you see that, and these customers are on your neck. So an expert can open all these applications side by side. And at a point, you will now see that your speed of operation can surpass the speed of the system. When that happens, your computer will stand by, will hang. So there are a lot of factors actually that can make computer to hang. Virus can make it to hang. Not having enough space can also make it what? To hang. But what I'm saying is that is why when we are buying computer, we should always buy computer that the speed is very high, so that no matter the speed you use, the computer will be able to follow you, particularly the random access memory, which is the RAM, that holds whatever the processor is processing. And that is why it is called what? A volatile storage, the RAM. Remember, we have the RAM, random access memory, and then we have the ROM, read-only memory. One is a volatile storage, while the other one is what? Non-volatile storage. A volatile storage is a storage that can lose its content as soon as the computer goes off. While a non-volatile storage is like a permanent storage. For example, your HDD, your SDD. Remember, I mentioned that before. HDD means what? Hard disk drive. SDD means what? Solid state what? Drive. All right. So these are the internal, these are what we call the local disks. These are the storage, the internal memory of the system that holds all the installed application and the file within the system. So this is the window interface. So the first thing you must understand is how to turn on your computer. And to turn on your computer, you look at a laptop. You will always see, check very well, towards the edge, you will see the power button. There is a symbol of power, something like this. Let me see if I can sketch it. So you always see something like this, and then it will have something like this. This is the symbol of power. So once you can sight that icon or this symbol, check within the laptop interface or the desktop interface, you'll find this button. Then you press it once. So once you press it once, the booting process will start. And at that point, as a beginner, you must hold on. You must wait. All right? You must wait. Now, that waiting period depends on the speed of the computer processor. So if you are using 19th century laptop, you don't expect the booting time to be the same with what? 21st century what? Laptop. There are some laptops, as soon as you press the power button, before you close your eyes and open it, the window has already what? Completed the booting process. And please let me break it down. Anytime you turn that button so that you know the reason why you are waiting. Why should I wait when I press the power button? 3 reasons. Number one, once you press the power button, the computer will access the memory units, those places that store information. Why? Because he knows that the moment computer is ready, you are going to ask for what you saved yesterday. So just imagine the computer rushed to get itself ready without confirming that all those information that you have processed and stored are intact. Once you start asking for them, you will not be able to provide them. So that is why the computer will ensure that before it's ready for usage, all the storage location, they are in good condition. To check your hard drive, it will check all the folder to ensure that all of them are what? Good. Once it's finished assessing, let me also sell this idea to some of us. Next time you take your computer to an engineer to fix, and you start complaining that when you press because I am also an engineer, most time we ask the client, how did it happen? How long you have been noticing these changes? The person will start saying that, or how is the computer behaving, particularly when the person is calling you on phone and you want to have an idea of what could be going wrong. You will now be asking the person questions like, when you press the power button, is it showing light? Now, once you tell me that it's showing light, I know that one problem is eliminated. It means that is not power issue. And then I will now ask you again, okay, if the power button not every laptop have some button that shows that displays light around it. And once you can tell me that, okay, those lights are showing, but it's not displaying anything on the screen, I already know 2 things that can cause it. Because I understand that the processor has a storage, a memory that holds whatever it processes. So the moment the processor wakes up, want to process, and it's find out that the RAM is not there, then it will drop the content. That is the reason why you press the power button, you see the computer vibrating, you can see light around it, but nothing is showing on the screen. When next you take it to an engineer, tell them to check the RAM, because you know that the RAM is the one that will have held those things for the processor to display via the display unit, which is called the VDU, which is called also the monitor. I hope I'm making sense. Please let me get a response from someone else, not IBK. John Dudu, I hope you are here. Let me get a response from someone else if you are following, please. Can I get response from someone else, please? Emmanuel, thank you. I hope we are following, and I hope we are taking note at the same time. All right, so thank you very much, Emmanuel Power. Okay, so like I was explaining, this is the Microsoft window, and we want to really look at some of those things we have discussed from the practical perspective. So that is now shifting our focus to understanding the management of the window. What are the managerial skills that I need to have as a computer user that is approaching the computer for the very first time, just like assume you are right now? Because the title of this is Understanding Computer Fundamental. So this training model is for those that are breaking into the world of technology for the very first time. So I am assuming that you don't even know how to turn on the computer. That's why I said the first thing you do, you boot your system by pressing the power button. So once you press the power button, you wait, because the computer is going to access the storage, the memory. And then once the computer passes that stage of accessing the memory, then it shifts the focus to another phase, which is called diagonizing the peripherals. What do you mean by peripheral? Peripherals are like the leg, the hand, just like the way your body is, right? You have the hand that supports your body. you have the leg that support the body, you have the eyes. So all these various parts that can be connected to the computer in order to assist the main processor or the main unit to achieve the collective goal, they are called what? Peripherals. So these peripherals can be broken into two. We have the input peripheral, we have the output peripheral. So just to further break it down for us, when we use the word input, it means these are the peripheral or the devices that are used to feed the computer information or instruction. For example, the mouse is what? An example of what? The peripheral. So if I am to define this mouse, I am going to say the mouse is an input peripheral device, which is used to give the computer instruction, and at the same time is a pointy device. It helps, so you can say the mouse come. You see this arrow that I'm moving, it is called mouse communication. And that is why whenever you want to use your computer, you touch the mouse. If this arrow doesn't move, it means that what? The mouse is not communicating. So what do? You unplug it and put it back. And if you keep doing that and there is no response, then you can now drive or update your system. It means that what? The driver, the activator, the line in which the processor is using to talk to that particular device is missing. So it's not receiving instruction from the operating system, because the operating system receives instruction from the computer through the what? The processor that is directly mounted on the motherboard. And then the operating system talk to you and I as the computer what? Users. All right. So we are looking at how you are to manage your computer. You turn on the power button and then you wait while you are waiting so that the computer can access all the what? Memory location. 2, so that the computer can check the peripheral, the mouse and the keyboard, because the computer knew that once it is ready, all this hand, leg will be what? Used. So once it completes that diagonizing the devices, the last stage of your computer booting is loading the window. And that is when you will see, the Microsoft window coming up. And then after some time, you will then see all these pictures. All these pictures, they are called the Windows icons. They are called the Windows icons. All right. So now we understand where to start from. So where do I start from? You must know how to on your computer. After owning it, you must know when to start operating it. That is, you must know when it's ready. And I'm going to show us how do I know that my computer is ready. Now, once you right-click, you see what is happening now. Once you right-click and you do not get this drop down, it means your computer is not ready. Emmanuel, do you have?
I'm not seeing the screen, sir. No, the screen. I'm not seeing your screen, sir.
Please, can someone else confirm that? Please, I want to know if it's from his end or it's general. Can someone else? Can you see my screen, please? Somebody else should.
Maybe for me, I can see I can see your screen clearly.
Okay, let me stop sharing. Sir, can you see it now? Please, I want.
Yes, I can see it now.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, so
I can see it now.
We can see
okay,
it.
okay,
Yes.
okay, thank you very much.
It's in
Okay,
that room.
So-
in our room.
okay, so okay. Please, can we mute back? Okay, okay. So remember, we are still discussing what? The computer approach. So what I'm talking about right now is the computer what? Approach. The computer approach. The first thing is what? You must know where the power button is. And when you press it, you must wait. And then once you can see all this picture, which is going to be the next topic right now, you know that your computer is ready for usage. And I wanted to show us before that information came in. I wanted to show us how you can actually know that, okay, at this point, can I even operate the computer? Is it ready or is still booting? So all you need to do is to just right click. If you know what is called right click, look at your mouse here. Those that are using external mouse, if you look at your laptop, the what we call what? Mouse pad, which is representing this. And then you can see 4 buttons there. You can see that space where you can slide for those of us that are used to laptop. So once you press the right button is actually used to call hidden instruction. All right. Now, for example, now I'm looking for a command. Look at it. If I disorganize this icon, you can see that the icons are scattered. They are not well arranged. And I'm looking for a command to arrange them. And there is no place on the interface where it is boldly written, arrange icon. So an expert should know, oh, anytime you are looking for a command within an app, and it's not written, you should know that what? There are always hidden commands in every application. There are hidden commands. And how do you exploit those hidden commands? You right click. You see that all these are functions, but they are not what? Showing. So once you right click, you will now be able to see what? Sort by, and then you will now be able to say by name. You can see that I have been able to arrange all the icons. So now what I'm driving at is that once you right click, and you are able to get this drop down, that is the confirmation that the computer is not busy. The computer is waiting for you. Another way is that if you check this icon, look at the icon I'm navigating at. It's called window icon. Check your keyboard. You'll find it there. So once you press that button on the keyboard, if it doesn't bring out something like this, so what I actually press now is this icon on my keyboard. I just press it and then what? Pop up what? This. Now, once you get, this is how you confirm that your keyboard is also what? Communicating. All right. So once you get this information, it means that what? Your system is ready. So the booting process is what? Completed. All right. So we understand that. So the next focus now, the next topic is what? Windows management skills. Please, I want us to be writing this topic, Windows management skills. So that's the next topic now. Now that we have learned how to start our system, and then if you want to shut it down before we go, you can just click on this window icon, and then you are going to see the shutdown button. I think I'm going to show us after this. Because I don't want to exit this write-up interface. So let's quickly look at Windows management skills. Now, what are the skills that I need to manage my operating system? Not Microsoft Word, not Excel. Because the Microsoft window, the operating system, like we defined, that it is the operating system, it is the software that manages the entire computer. All right. So what are the skills that I need to have so that I don't end up destroying the laptop? There are some of us that somebody have been using system for 2 years. The moment that laptop get to us, the next day, there will be one complaint or the other. The laptop is not coming up. The laptop is not because of wrong operation. Some of us don't have the knowledge. So what are the skills that we need? Number one skill that you need, number one is what? You must know how to manage your icon. Manage your what? Manage Windows icon. So that takes us to what is Windows icon. Icon, number one, these are the pictures. All these pictures, they are called icon. Please, we need to take note of that. When we say icon, these are the icon, all these pictures. So how do we define icons? So we can define icon as graphical representation of either program. So we can say icon represents program. Icon represents programs. When I say program, I'm talking about application. Like this Google Chrome, Visual Studio Code. These are what? Icons. So it's either an icon represents a program or folders. So an icon can also represent what? Folders. What are folders? All these are folders. We are going to take them one after the other. And then if an icon is not representing a program, if an icon is not representing a folder, that icon is representing file. So all the icon you will ever come across within your Microsoft window can only represent what? These what? Three items I mentioned: programs, folders, and file. So the next question now is that, sir, how do I differentiate a program icon from a folder icon and what? File icon. Now, let's start like this. Program icons are icons that represent installed applications. Program icon, these are icons that represent installed applications. So this one represents what? Install apps. For example, let's look at this. This is what? A program icon representing a browser for surfing the internet. This is another program icon, VirtualBox for learning ethical hacking. This is a program icon, Power BI for learning data analytics. This is a program icon for learning Python, pure Python programming. All right. Now, it means that if you delete this icon from here, the program still exists within your system. It's just like you are saying that nobody should represent me. So all these are just representatives. So for the fact that you delete this icon from here does not mean that the program root has been what? Removed. So you just decided to say that I don't want any picture to represent it while I am on what? The GUI. What is the GUI? That is graphical what? Interface. Graphical user interface, which is the same what? Window that is provided. All right. Now, let's look at folder. How do I identify folders icon? Folder icon are all this yellow picture. All this. They are called folder. Now, if we are to define folder, because we need to understand under information management system, you must know the role of a folder. So let's quickly discuss that folder icon. So folder are what? They are sub storage. They are sub what? Storage. We need to understand that. Now, what makes them sub storage? Which means that what? You can never have a folder on its own. A folder is always residing under the computer main storage. Are we together? A practical example is you can never have a room until you have a house. All right? So if you understand it from that angle, it means that those rooms, they are segmented, separated within the building just to package a certain item. That is how it is in your computer. So as a user, when you are working in your office, you must understand how to segment your files for easier retrieval. So if you are working in an office, I believe you are going to have admin files. You are going to have probably general employees file and probably your client or customers file. All this should not be in one place. So you create a folder, you name it what? A customers file. So all your customers file goes in there. You create a folder, you name it what? Admin. All your admin file goes in there. So the day you want to access them, you don't waste your time. All right. So that is a folder. So all these are folder. As you are seeing them, they are folder that are strategically created just to store different categories of what information within my computer. And I structure my file system this way for easier what assessment. Every professional should know how to structure his or her file. In fact, when you are using computer and it's taking you time to access certain information, it shows that you don't understand file organization. So I am going to quickly show us how we can create a folder, because this is very, very important. How do I create a folder? Steps on how to create folder. So to create a folder like this, like all this, how do I create them? So you right click on an empty space. What do I mean by empty space? This is not empty space. You are simply right clicking on another what icon. This is not an empty space. You are also right clicking on another icon. So empty space is where within the graphical user interface where there is no icon occupying. So here can be an empty space. 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 So all I need to do on your mouse, you have 3 buttons there. All right. And these 3 buttons generate what? 3 actions. And you must know them. When somebody is pressing the left button, the right word is what? Left clicking. Then when you are rolling the middle button, I am scrolling. These are the terms you need to know. When somebody is pressing the right button, he or she will say what? I am right clicking. All right. So also have it like that even on your laptop, because you cannot see. That's why I'm trying to use this one to show us. So if you right click, so when I say right click now, you now know the button I'm pressing. So you right click on an empty space, then you are going to see what? A drop down of commands. What are we looking for? We want to create folder. So you go to what? Your first step, for those that are writing our step, the first step on how to create folder, right click on an empty space. Step two, navigate to new. All right. Now, whenever you see this arrow, it means that what? There are more items that can be what? Accessed. So navigate to what? Now, when you are navigating, you have to maintain certain alignments. Look at it. If I want to come down here, you see how I move now. I move like this vertically to make sure that I'm in this section before I come down. So if I'm trying to from here come in here now, if I right click now and I come here, I'm trying to let me take it here. Let me take it here so that you can get it. Now, if I'm trying to come here, at times it might go up. So the best thing you do is that what? You will just what? Navigate. You go straight like this. Make sure that you are within this section. Then you go down. Now, what are you looking for? You are looking for folder. So the moment you click on it, then you have created your folder. But in the rules of creating file, as far computer is concerned, there is a law that says that your file must have a unique identity, a name that differentiates it from other files. So therefore, how will I be able to differentiate this folder from other existing folder tomorrow? So I need to check any name that I have not used, that is the name you can use. Now, if you want to try it now, let's say I want to give what? This folder what? Webinar that has already been used. You will notice computer will disallow it. So let's just try and do it. So when you get an error like that, you know what the computer is talking about. So if I click outside now, look at the message that comes up, telling me that what? This destination already contains a folder name. So you go back and then do what? Change the name. So let's say maybe this one can be web maybe 222. And then you click outside. How do I know whether that name is acceptable? It's not just by typing it. You have to click outside. So if you click outside and the computer does not prompt you any information, it means that what? That name is acceptable. So let me click outside now. Fine. So which means that what? No icon is currently what? Using this name. I believe those that are joining with laptop, you are also practicing some of these things alongside with me, all right? Because I'm going to probably schedule an interaction section where I will not teach, I will just come live and then to ask questions, share your screen, and then we look at challenges you could be facing from your end. So right now we have successfully created a folder. Now, how do I now see the content of the folder, which means how do I open the folder to see what is inside? Now, to open a folder is either you right-click on it and select open, or you double-click on it. Now you can see that what is telling us that what this folder is empty. So which means that what no file has been stored in that folder. But at least we have know how to create a folder. Now, the next thing you need to know is that we are still looking at the skills you need to have for you to manage your windows. Number one, I'm trying to prioritize them. You must know how to manage folders, because folder helps us to store or segment our file or information. All right. So now, the next thing I want to look at is how to rename a folder. I hope you are writing the topic. How to rename folder. How to rename what? Folder. Because there are times that after creating a folder, you now discover that you want to change the name for certain reason. So how do you change the name of your folder? So now that you have created it, you click on that folder first, you select it with the left button, then right click again. And then for those that are using Windows 10, Windows 11, you are not going to see the command here until you go to show more option. And then from there, you will now see rename. So from here, I can click on rename, and then it will highlight the name of the folder. Now from here, I can say, okay, I just want to change it to what? WD. And then you click outside again to acknowledge it. So with that, you have renamed your folder. All right. So what is the next skill that is required for you to manage your window? Now we have files. Look at this. All this file has been created. All this file. Sorry, I press Ctrl Z and it returned the previous name. So let me take it back to WD. Now, let's assume that you are asked to tidy up your window. Let's say you have so many things scattered everywhere. And your boss comes in and says, you know what? All these things are too much here. Can you package them in a way that I can have more space within this window? So that will take us to another topic. I believe you are writing down your topic. So the next thing we want to learn right now is how do I transfer an existing file into the folder I just created? Because it is possible that at the time you store this file here directly, you don't know how to create folder. Like some of us have joined this class. So after learning how to create folder, so you go back to your system and say, oh, no, this desktop, this interface is too jam-packed, so I want to tighten it up. So what do? You don't need to start saving this file again inside. All right? So what you are going to do, look at this. You carry this one now. You hold down on it. Your left button. Once you click on the icon, hold down the left button and keep dragging. You can see it now. Once you get to that folder, you must see that information that says move to the name of the folder. Once you can cite that information, release your hand. That folder, that file has entered it. So I'm taking this one again. Once you click here like this, it has entered that folder. So you keep dragging. Now, if I want to drag 2 or 3 at the same time and dump them in this folder, you will just click, look at it now. You just stay where, if you hold down the left button and drag, is covering those icons that you want to move at the same time. Once you see that those number of icons have been selected, then you move the mouse pointer on top of any of those ones that you selected, not here, inside these two. move it on, you hold down the left button on one of them and then move. Two of them will move at the same time. And by the time you can see that move to WD, release your hand, they are all in there. I can carry all these things like this at once if there's no implication, and then drag everything and put everything there. But I don't want to do that. So now, if you open this folder again now by right-clicking and selecting open, you will see that what all those information are already in. All right. So after this, I'm going to give us some time to ask questions. And for those that have their laptop, I'm going to ask you to share your screen, and then I will ask you to perform a task for me. Now, look at what I did here now. I want you to pay attention to what I did. If I click on this icon, the whole of this folder interface covers the entire screen. But what do I want to do? I want to take them back to the desktop. So I'll first of all what restore down. You click on it, it will reduce that current window to allow you to view other what window. Now, once you are able to view it this way, then I can select all these files and then what pull them out. So you can see that what I have taken them away from what the folder now, and I've returned them. But unfortunately, they are not where they were before. So I can just right click and then select sort by, and then either use any of this. You can use size, you can use item type, you can use when last they were modified, or the name, and everything what goes back. So I'm going to, I want to know how many persons are joining with their laptop. Please kindly on mute. I want to know those that are joining with their laptops. I want to know those that are joining with their laptop. Those that are joining with phone, you have your icon already on your mobile interface. So you also have this window there where you can see all your icons. I have Wakuso. Please, if you can talk back to me. Are you joining with your laptop? Let's do it real quick. Let's do it real quick. I want to know those that are joining with their laptop.
Sure, I'm still well.
Yes, I'm joining the laptop.
Okay, so I'm going to, do you know how to share your screen?
No.
No.
Okay, now what you do, if you look at that Zoom panel where can you see an icon? Can you see audio? Can you see video? That's Zoom.
Yeah.
Good. Now just keep following me. After audio, video, participant. Are you seeing all these that I'm mentioning? You are seeing them.
Yes.
Then you see
Yeah.
chat. You will see chat. After chat, what do you have there? Talk back to me. What do you have there? After chat, what do you have?
React.
After React, what do you have?
Share.
Good. Now click on that share. Well, let me allow you to, okay, don't worry. Wait, just hold on. Let me allow you to share. Let me see if I can quickly sort that out. Just hold on. Just give me a few minutes. Let me allow you to share.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. Oh yeah, share now. Click on that share now. I've stopped sharing so that I can see your screen. Yeah, click on that share button. Click on the share button. Good. You are coming up now. Just hold on. Okay. So I want you to create a folder for me. Create a folder. Give it your name. We are watching. If you have questions, please kindly ask.
Click on empty space.
Good. Click on empty space. Okay. You right click on it.
Right click.
There's no right click.
We're not using mouse.
No, you should have mouse now. Use your laptop. The laptop, there is a mouse space there. All right. So you should be able to know how to. So press down the right button. Press it down. So press it down is going to Try and see if you can get it. Good. All right.
Okay.
All right. All right.
Yeah.
So now,
Go to new.
good.
Go
Navigate,
to new.
then select folder. Just click on
Yes.
good. Okay. Oh yeah, type, give it your name. Give it a name.
Awesome. It's done now.
Yes, this is the folder.
That's it, it's done.
I want you to save. Now, can you move it out? I want you to save one of those files inside it. No, don't close it. Don't close it. Don't close it. Oh, open the
No.
now that admission two. That admission two. Okay, don't worry. That admission two. Save it inside that folder. Just hold down the button and drag it. Hold down the button and slide. You are using laptop. Just slide. Just hold down the left button and slide. Good. Good. Oh yeah. Once you can see that, move to. Oh yeah, drop. Good. Oh yeah, move the other two picture inside. Move the other two picture above inside. Please let me know which other person is joining with laptop, please. Who else is joining with laptop?
Okay. Then the one on top.
Who else? I have a Chidiogo. I
I'm using
have.
laptop, sir.
Okay, so please get ready. Okay,
Okay.
okay, okay. So at least we have mastered that. Let me go to the next person. Let me go to the next person. IBK, please can you? Then you can stop sharing, man. You can stop sharing. That place you click,
Okay.
check there now, you see something like stop. And then let's go on IBK. I just want to find out.
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah, IBK, let's check. IBK, share your laptop. Let me also
Well,
ask you one or two questions and see how you can respond to that. IBK, was it not you that say you are also joining with? Okay, we are coming on your screen now. Okay, okay. Now go to your window. Go to your window, IBK. Want to see your graphical user interface. Okay, so what you are going to do for me now, I want you to quickly create a folder, then add one or two files inside. Quickly, we are watching. Others, make sure you also follow. After this, we'll proceed. And I'll come back for another task. So most of these things you are not able to practice alongside as I'm teaching. Once the video gets to you, sit down with the video, pause it, all the practical in it. Make sure you master them, please. Very, very important. You can be seeing me doing it until you do it with your hand. You don't know it. That is computer for you. Okay. All right. All right. So you can stop sharing. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So stop sharing. Let me share again so that we can. I just want us to add one more thing. So we are closing soon. So I just want to add one more thing for us to, we are still on what are the necessary skills that I need to have for me to be able to manage the Microsoft operating system. So we have looked at how to create an folder as a storage. We have looked at how to relocate existing file into it. And then the next thing I'm going to show us now is if you are working in Microsoft Word or you are in an application interface. How do you save? I think I'm going to leave that because when we get to Microsoft Word, I'm still going to teach us all that. So let's just focus on the window. So the next thing I want to show us is how do we arrange the Windows icon? You can see the other time, all the icons were not properly arranged. Look at it here. So as a professional computer user, whenever you are given a system to operate, you are supposed to what? Arrange the icon so that you don't think that all the icons are usually only on your left-hand side. Somebody can decide that the icon should come to my right-hand side. So you can actually rearrange your icon. How do you do that? You don't have to be picking them one after the other and trying to what? To align them. So you just right-click on an empty space, then you go to what? Sort by, and then you choose what? Any of this. So that is how you can automatically what? Arrange the icon. But let me show you one thing here. If you choose sort by name, the order of the icon arrangement will change. Look at the structure we have now, all the file and the app and the folder. Now, that is because we use size. So if I change it to name now, you see what? Program, folder, and file. So even though all of them can be used to rearrange, they all have different what? Order structure. All right, so you can say by item. By item, the priority will be your folder first, and then your file and what? Program. All right, so that is how to arrange your Windows icon in case the icons are not properly arranged. Now, one more thing is, another topic is, if you give your laptop to computer learners, those that you know that they can actually delete or reorganize your Windows icon, and you are a kind of operator that already know where certain icons are located. So you will not want somebody to come and remove this icon and put it here. Tomorrow, when you want to use it, because you already know that it's always here, it might take you some time to look for it. So what you do is that you fix them such that nobody can what? Change their location. So how do you fix the window icon? How do we bind them together? How do we group them together so that you can no longer what? Separate them. You right click on an empty space, and then this time around, you are going through what? View, not sort by. And then you are selecting what? Auto arrange icon. That is another way you can arrange your icon. But when you use this method, your icon can no longer be separated. Look at it. If I try moving now, nothing is separating. So which means that at the moment we have automatically what? Group or the icon. I hope I'm communicating. Exactly. Hello. Are we together? Okay, so, all right. So we are still going to have one more class on Windows. So our next class, we are still going to continue with the practical. We still have a lot of practical things to know regarding to the Microsoft Windows. All right, but I want to stop here. Like I told us, it's a master class. We mustn't rush. So because this is the first approach, I want to allow us to go and digest all this. Make sure you understand everything. Make your notes. As we are having the classes, make sure you are making your notes. Sit down with the video. Day one, write the notes, the definition, everything there. Day two, the same thing. By the time we are done with the training, you have your complete manual. All right. So I'm still going to send us an manual, particularly when we get to Microsoft Word. I will send us an manual that will take care of most of the steps. But that doesn't mean that when you are in a class like this, you shouldn't what? Take notes. Because the manual was composed some years ago, and there are new things that I could be adding while I'm teaching today. All right, so do we have any question? Any question before we round up the class? Any question, please?
Yes.
Okay,
Good evening, sir.
thank you.
The auto arrange icon and the align icon to grid. What's the difference there?
Yeah, the difference is that when it arranges the icon, you can see that I'm no longer able to what? To move the icon. So if I go back now and I select that view and I turn it off, now if I move now, you can see that what I'm able to what to separate them. I don't know if I've got to your question. Maybe is that what we are saying, or this very one? We are talking about this one.
Yes.
Okay, they are all method of arranging your icon. So you choose the one you actually want. So that grid is talking about you click and drag. You click and drag before it will align. Let me hear you, sir. I think you are still saying something.
Yeah, so that means you click and drag. Why
Yeah.
the auto? You cannot drag it.
Yes, you cannot drag.
Okay.
Any other question? Any other question, please? We are rounding up. Any other question?
What about the show desktop icon?
Okay, so show desktop icon is another tool. Actually, I'm still going to look at that in the next class, but let me just show you. If you want to hide the icon, you can see that show desktop icon. You click, all the icons has gone. All right, maybe you don't want somebody to see the icon, right? So when you right click, you can go back there and what click on it, can bring back. So it's used to turn on and turn off the icon. That doesn't mean that you have deleted them. You just want to, remove them from the graphical user interface. I hope we are together. All right. Any other question? Any other question? Okay, so if there's no question, please, we are going to end it here. What we are going to do, we are supposed to look at a workable permanent timetable for the classes. So I'll still ship that. We'll communicate. I'll provide the options in the group, and then we will all agree on which day. We're supposed to be meeting twice in a week. So we met. Where was the last time we met? That was on Friday or Saturday, but I think it was on Friday. So we are going to meet probably on Friday again, but I'm going to send a kind of class schedule for you guys to approve a time that is workable for every one of us twice in a week before we now make those days standard for having the classes. So please, I'm encouraging us to, there is a new batch that we just opened. I believe we saw it in the group, a morning session. I believe you have relative people that would have loved to join this evening, but they are not available. Or you even have teenagers that can join the morning session. The morning session is starting on the 3rd of August. So I will also be the one to anchor it. So it's going to also be twice in a week. So I think between the hour of 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Right. So in case you have anyone that missed this particular one, they can key into that one for them to have this training pack. All right. So at this point, I'll leave us here. Take care of yourself. Thank you for joining. And then when the video comes, probably by tomorrow morning, sit down with the video again before the next class. Always make sure if you did not grab everything in the class, you must go back to the video and what recap everything, because the next class is going to be a continuation of this very one. So we are still going to spend the whole of that class understanding Microsoft Windows. Once we are done with that, we will now enter Microsoft Word Office. All right, so good night, everyone. See you in the next session.
Good night, sir.
Bye.
Yo, good night.
Thank you.
Yeah, awesome.